Hello, so today we're going to be talking about social media and relationships. My name is Chloe. I am a senior in the Communications and Media program at Mankato State University, and today we're going to be talking about the pressures and the pros and cons of having constant social media access on our smartphones and computers with different relationships in our lives. And at the end, we're going to talk about best practices for social media use. So why did I choose this topic? First of all, I've had access to social media my entire life since I was a child. And in my advanced seminar course, I've been talking about what does that mean for our well-being psychologically and the development of these relationships. Does it positively or negatively affect it? Today we're going to talk about the definitions of different communication theories, the pros and cons, and then how to use social media to connect in a meaningful way. So for definitions and existing research, we're going to focus on communication as the creation of messages, the characteristics of the message, and the interpretation of it, and then its response, kind of the sender, message, and receiver model. There are so many different definitions of communication, but we'll use that today. And then what is social media? Just a brief overview. That means any online platform where people create content, engage with others, do social networking, different kinds of communication, and then they interact by liking, commenting, sharing, and reacting to it, kind of creating that social interaction that's sending that message to the receiver. And then common platforms are Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. There are so many different ones. And then for relational dynamics, there's communication styles, power dynamics, boundaries, roles, and expectations. An example of a power dynamic on social media could be teams for the workplace. You're kind of expected to answer in a certain time frame to your boss, maybe on that platform. For media multiplexity theory, basically this is by Dr. Haythorne Waite, and it is just saying that the more communication you have through different channels, the more rich these relationships will be. So basically, applied to this, it's saying that the more communication, the better. So for specific research, this one by Bazavora showed that keeping a romantic partner constantly in reach, communication-wise, digitally, is only beneficial to the partner. And out of 1,500 people studied, they did not find any negative effects. So this is connected to media multiplexity by showing that readiness for communication and contact is what is beneficial. So pros of constantly having this availability to connect on social media platforms. There are a lot of pros. It can enhance your connectivity with these people. There's a lot of convenience that goes into it. You get this feeling of increased social support, and it can also facilitate long distance relationships, which are more common now in the digital age. Some cons of it are that it's distracting and causes disconnection in some situations, less quality time because we are on these platforms not just to communicate with the people in front of us. Can cause a lot of misunderstandings in communication because the messages are not as rich in tone, facial expressions, nonverbal cues. It can cause dependency and jealousy and comparison because people only post their best photos and stuff on social media. So for best practices, we're going to go over a couple here. So establishing clear communication and boundaries is really important. So that's up to each individual user, regardless of pros and cons through studies. You need to know what you're comfortable with to avoid feelings of rejection and uncomfortableness that negatively impact these relationships. Practicing digital detoxes, just taking a break from your phone and these social media platforms. Prioritizing quality over quantity, so going into social media use each day with intention and mindfulness can stop that doom scrolling and just going on it to get some endorphins. And then practicing digital empathy is really important, being meaningful with what you say. Kind of like if you had a conflict, for example, treating it as if you would in person and not just hiding behind your phone. And then in conclusion, I think that obviously those practices we just went over can really help establish more meaning and connection with the relationships we already have in our life, not to mention the expansion of our social networks, social capital, and the benefits that come with it. There's really no right or wrong answer of whether it'll destroy your relationships or make them better, as a lot of articles and research kind of bounce back and forth between, but it is all up to the individual user to control their own situation with that. And then here are my own references. Thank you.